Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Covers. As you're watching, please tap the screen if you're on Instagram, or just smash that like button. Actually, let's not say like, smash that love button and say hello. Let me know what your name is and where you're watching from. Who am I? My name is Daniela Plexner. I'm an author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing. We work with authors from all over the world to help them to get their powerful messages and stories out there into the hands of those who need to hear their message the most. Over the last 7 years now, we've published over 200 books, some of which you can see on my bookshelf here. This show, if you're watching again for the first time, is about really bringing on authors who have been published through us, sometimes not always published through us, and industry experts to give you a real good sense of that author journey, getting up close and personal between the covers of what it takes to be an author, a published author. So today I have a very special guest, but before I introduce my guest, can you please share this out with your network? Share it with anyone that you think might find this of value and of worth. And if you're watching on the replay, put that hashtag replay in. Okay, so bringing in Adino Israel, who's written a beautiful book here called Adam and Eve, The True Beginnings. I'm really interested in learning about his journey, how his interpretation of Genesis, the first book of Genesis. There are many, many different interpretations. So we're going to go deep, but keep it light at the same time. We've got to get that balance, because I can talk about this all day, every day. So I'm going to bring on Adino. Adino, how you doing?
Hello.
Hey, you are now a published author. You have your beautiful children's book here, Adam and Eve. How does it feel?
It feels great to get to the end of it and accomplish it. And I think it's probably one of the first true biblical children's book.
Okay, well, I was interested to find out about you first and your walk and how you came to write this book and why this book is important to you. Tell me a little bit about your sort of journey to Christianity, because I know that you weren't always a Christian. Give us a bit of your backstory so we can really get a sense of it.
Well, the word Christianity is not the same as being a Christian. The word Christianity is not actually in the Bible. The word Christian is actually just means follower of Christ. That's all it is. Christianity and being a Christian is two separate things.
Okay, so tell us the difference.
Christianity is taught by man. Okay, it's made up basically. Christianity does not follow the Bible, but if you call yourself a Christian, Christian means a follower of Christ. So you're going to follow exactly what Christ did or did do, according to the Bible.
Are you saying that you can be a Christian and not believe in the Old Testament, but actually be a follower of Christ and his teachings?
Well, Christ, the Bible, the Old and New Testament come together. You can't understand the New Testament without reading the Old Testament. So basically, if you got a book, you can't start reading from the middle of the book.
Okay. Well, tell us a bit about your journey then too. Well, I mean, what would you call yourself? And tell me a bit about your journey.
Well, what I call myself more of my ancestors are the people of the Bible, and the people in the Bible were called the Israelites.
Okay.
That was their race. There's 18 different races in the Bible, and the Bible speaks about all of them, but the Bible was actually written by Israelites. You might know them today as
the council.
As today, we're known as blacks, South American, Mexican, Latino, and Native American, and plus a lot of our people are scattered in many different countries through slavery.
Okay, and tell me your journey to Well, where were you before that? Before you discovered all
Well,
this?
before I was always searching for Black history. I could never really find our history. Uh, our history kind of started at slavery, so I was always interested. I've always was interested in what happened before slavery, because something must have happened for our history to be totally wiped out and the clock restarted at slavery. So it was basically, I was on YouTube and I kept seeing Black history about Black people wrote the Bible and all the people in the Bible were Black. But I didn't believe it at first. I just thought they were mad. It's only until I actually picked up the book myself and was taught by elder men than me that I've been reading the Bible for 30, 40 years. It's them that instructed me how to read the Bible and where to find how to basically understand the Bible. So from that journey, it's led me to doing a book, basically, just to teach other people of their history.
Okay. And tell me a bit about Adam and Eve then.
Well, Adam and Eve, when you go to Genesis 2 and 7, it actually tells you the color of Adam, and that was the first man. And he said that his oh man, let me find it. No point me talking. I'm not that. Yeah, I read it for you. This is Genesis 2 and 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. So God formed Adam out of the dust of the ground. If you look at the ground, it's what color is the dust of the ground, or the mud of the ground, the dirt?
Brown or red. Red if you're in East Africa, some parts of East Africa.
Well, the darker you dig, the deeper you dig, the darker it gets.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, God's telling you that the first person is telling you his color and what he's made out of. So the first person, Adam, color was brown or dark brown complexion.
Well, I mean, one thing I think we do agree on is the representation. Oh, representation in terms of, you know, the Bible and how it's been, you know, obviously whitewashed by the Greco-Romans in terms of what the original image of Jesus or Yeshua actually looks like, compared to, number one, how he's described in the Bible, and number two, applying logic and thinking about actually where he was located and what his ethnicity really was. So I mean, what are your views on this?
Well, where Christ actually came from, Judea, Israel, today, it's before, I think it was 1912, Israel was classed as Northeast Africa.
Mm-hmm.
It was a British naval commander that called that area the Middle East. It's a new term. You know, if you put in if you Google term Middle East, it tells you exactly who made up the word Middle East. It was coined by a British naval officer. So before that, Israel was Northeast Africa. So Israel was part of Africa. It's next door to Egypt. So that should tell you. It should really tell you what the color of the people that live around there was.
Yeah. So I can't laugh. I mean, in the Bible, it describes his feet as I can't remember the exact words, but like fire, brass, and his hair was like wool. It certainly is very different to the common image that we're shown in the Western world, anyway.
Yeah, that's correct. In the Bible, it tells you his color, his hair texture, and how dark his skin was. He said that he was so well. You know what? Let me read it so you can see it for yourself. Okay, this is a revelation. The revelation means the revealing of Christ. Okay, so So you have to go to chapter 1 and verse 14. Well, you know what? I'll read the first one. It goes, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angels unto his servant John. So we're going to show you what Christ looked like. His head and his hair were white like wool. So his head, the hair on his head was white like wool. So if you see any elderly black people, sometimes have the hair goes white. It goes white as snow. So his hair was the texture of wool, and it was white as snow. And his eyes were a flame of fire. So Christ drank wine. So when we know that we've had a bit of a drink, our eyes go red.
Okay.
So Christ drank wine in moderation. He didn't overdo it. So now we're going to come to his skin color now. And his feet like onto brass. So brass back then was like the color of a penny or 2 pence, as if they burnt in a furnace. So it's telling you the color and it's showing you how dark he was. So if you get anything that's already brown and you put it in a furnace, it's going to come out really black, really dark skin. So that's the color of Christ in the Bible. When you look at the Bible, when you look at the Christ today, that was made up in the 16th century by Leonardo da Vinci.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not a biblical depiction of Christ. Actually, it talks about that Christ in the Bible as well.
So which Christ?
The one that Michelangelo.
Jesus as opposed to Yeshua.
No, the one that Michelangelo drew a painting of. You probably call him Caesar Borgia. He's actually named the picture of the Caucasian Jesus is called Caesar Borgia. That's what the Christ was painted off. He was the Pope's son.
Yeah.
And that's where you get that image of the white Jesus today from.
I've got a question here. White but woolly hair but dark skin, confusing, or did he have a different pigmentation?
You have to repeat that again. I didn't understand.
White but woolly hair. No, white woolly hair, I think is what we're saying. White but woolly hair but dark skin, confusing, or did he have a different pigmentation?
No, the scriptures are clearly telling you that his hair was like wool. Black people are the only people with hair the texture of wool, and it's telling you the color of his hair, which was white.
Yeah.
And then it goes into his skin color, which is brass, burnt. So if you get a penny and you burn it, it's going to come out really black. Okay. That's the biblical depiction of Jesus Christ.
So let's go into Genesis, the first chapter. So you speak about how the world in its sense was created in 7 days, which is what people are taught from young through the Bible. So your take on it, I mean, how does your take on it differ to what is actually in the Bible in terms of the longevity? The 1 day you were saying was
to us on earth, 1 day is 1,000 years to the Most High God. So to him, to us, the earth would have been made in 7 days to him. But if we was on earth, it's more like 7,000.
Okay. That brings me to, I want to talk about this, the Anunnaki. So, okay, how can I ask you this? So for those who don't know, Anunnaki were different beings or a different race of beings who were around at the time. And there are, I believe, looking at some of Billy Carson's work on Zachariah Stitchin, that they actually were the Elohim, who created Adam and Eve to harvest gold. And they were in the Garden of Eden was actually a laboratory to create more of this man. What question am I wanting to ask? And so with the Anunnaki, it's similar in terms of like one day would be 1,000 years as well. So that's something there's parallels there. What is your take on some of these teachings?
I was into the Anunnakis as well and stuff like that. It's a rehash of the Bible, basically. It's just a rehash. The Anunnakis, there is. If you want to go deep, there is a race of beings that do live outside of this world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are black people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the angels are black. The Anunnakis are angels. The angels are black. God is black, according to the Bible. So it's just a rehash. They just took the Bible and rehashed it and made their own story out of the Bible, because the Bible was the first book on earth. It's the best-selling book in the world, and no other book can defeat the history that the Bible's got inside it. No other book can defeat it. It was written by prophets, divine men that God has chosen, scholars, and it's a history book. It's actually a black power history book. It shows us who we are, why we in certain predicaments, why we at the bottom of society, and then it shows us how to get out of that predicament.
Okay, you said a lot there, so I need to sort of digest that and because I've got 3 questions in one, I guess. So I mean, obviously you don't believe that the Anunnaki created humans. You believe that.
Well, according to the Bible, it was Christ, the angels, and the archangels, and the 24 elders that actually created Adam.
And who are the 24 elders?
Well, they're just beings that are angels. Well, the 24 elders are above basically in heaven. You got God that rules supreme, and on your left you've got 12 good elders, and then you've got 12 bad elders, or what would you call evil. Okay, so God's in control of good and evil. So when you see evil things happening on the earth, God sent down, according to the Bible, God sent down evil spirits to do certain things, and he sends down good spirits to do certain things. Well, good angels.
Okay, we've got a question here. Yes, the painting of Jesus by Michelangelo was very similar to Caesar. I can never say his name. Caesar. Can you say it for me, please?
Caesar Borgia.
That's the one. Caesar Borgia, son of the Pope, then Pope. Yeah. So interesting that you believe that God is an actual entity, something tangible you can see, made in the image of man. Is that correct? As opposed to a source energy or the all.
1 second. I'll prove it for you. God is actually God's actually got a body. I'll just find it for you. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to read a description of God. This is in Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9. And behold, till the thrones were cast down. So when Christ comes back, or God takes back over this world, is going to destroy all the leaders. He's going to destroy all the governments. Okay.
Well, I'm happy with that.
And the ancient days did sit, So the Ancient of Days is God. He comes before time. Okay, he was here before time existed. Okay, whose garment was white as snow. So to have a white garment on, white clothing on, you must have a body. Okay, that's according to the scriptures. So God has a body. Don't get me wrong, God is a spiritual, but it also has a physical body. He's got hands, he's got feet, he's got eyes. Okay. I read it again. And the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and his hair, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. Okay, so God's hair is like pure wool. So that kind of connects with that other scripture in Revelation where Christ had woolly hair. So, if you've seen Christ, you know what God looks like because it's his son. So God is a black man with woolly afro. Today they call it afro hair. But back then they call it woolly hair. If you look it up in the dictionary, we've got plenty of dictionaries and they call those they call our hair back then woolly hair or woolly texture hair. And basically it does look like wool, sheep's hair. Our hair when we
That
grow
was
it out.
Daniel. Remind me of that chapter because I'm not actually familiar with that.
That's Daniel 7 and 9.
Okay, I'm going to have a little research of that. Interesting. So tell me about the book, because I could talk to you with this all the time. We've only scratched the surface. I've got so much. Well, I love my questions and we haven't even got into Cain and Abel yet and everything else. But oh gosh, tell us about, what do you want children, I guess, to look at this book and to get from the book? And before that, I just want to show some of these beautiful images here by Jason Lee. Big up, Jason Lee. Just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, Jason did an excellent job.
It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, as a young person, I would have definitely felt very empowered reading a book like this and seeing images of, I mean, I don't want to say iconic characters, but biblical characters that reflect much more closely what they would have looked like. So I just think it's absolutely stunning. But sorry, what do you want young people to get from this book?
Well, basically, the book is to educate children and their parents as well, because most parents don't know that they are the people of the Bible, and it's most of our children don't know who they are. Well, most of the parents, we don't know who we are, where we come from, what's our we don't even know our true second name. Half of us, well, majority of us, we do not know our own second name, what God gave us. So the first thing you got to do is find out who you are, find out your identity first, because we're going through an identity crisis where if you got 5 different black people, they tell you 5 different things. Someone call you Black British, someone call you Afro American, Afro Caribbean, African. There's just so many different names that we've been called.
And then you've got the tribes as well. I mean, this is one of the things that fundamentally are a problem. We all use this term black, but what does black actually mean? It's not even a color. It's more of a political term that was given to us because our identities are so fragmented. It's also what it does is it doesn't acknowledge or recognize us as having a true, authentic identity with where we're originally from.
Yeah, it's like if you look at someone from China, if it's called Wong, it can go back to that village called Wong. It can retrace his history. If he's from India, it can go back to his village and retrace his history. But with us, what they've done, they've cut us off from our history and gave us different names. So we can't retrace who we are. So you cannot. Basically, they've took our culture, our name, our history, You know, the stripped us of everything. Well, they did. God stripped us of it. God gave them the power to take that away from us.
Okay. Maybe this is another conversation, but speaking of slavery, I mean, slavery is mentioned a lot in the Old Testament, and it's one of the things that I had a huge issue with, and I think it's for another conversation. And I do remember reading that and thinking, I can't. Why would God advocate for slavery, and so many things in there that are oppressive?
Okay, I'll give you a bit more understanding into that. Slavery, you have to understand, we've been through 7 different captivities or slaveries, 7 major captivities. Okay, we've had little shorter ones, but we've been through 7 major captivities. We've had the first people to enslave us was called the Assyrians.
Mm.
Then after the Assyrians, we had the Babylonians. The Babylonians today are the Ethiopians. They were the ancient Babylonians. And then after the Babylonians, it was the Persians. The Persians had us. Have you ever seen a movie called 300?
Yes.
Right? They were black.
Mm.
The Persians, see the Spartans, they were our people. They were black people. They were us. They were our ancestors. So the Persians had us in slavery. After the Persians had us in slavery, the Greeks had us in slavery. And that's when the whitewashed the book, whitewashed the Bible. The Greeks were the first ones to do it. They started to paint their images into the Bible. And then after the Greeks had us in slavery, the Romans had us in slavery. And then the Romans pushed us out of Israel into Africa. So that's how we got into Africa, to the west coast, because we was fleeing persecution. And some of us did get taken as slaves. A lot of us got taken into the Colosseums, and we were fighting lions, tigers, all sorts of stuff. That's where you get Spartacus from. Spartacus was a black man. That's where you get Spartacus from. And then we took over the Roman Empire. We were called the Holy Roman Empire. We actually defeated them and took over the Roman Empire, and we was called the Holy Roman Empire. And then after that, we got conquered again by many countries. Like Britain conquered us and put us into slavery with the Americans, the Spanish, the Swedes. Basically, all the European countries had us in slavery at some time. The Chinese had us in slavery at one time. The Japanese had us in slavery at one time. The Indians are the Persians in the Bible. They had us in slavery at one time. The Arabs had us in slavery at one time. They still got slavery going on. In fact, they're selling people in Libya for £300 in car parks. You know, Saudi Arabians have still got slaves. Mauritania are still selling slaves. So the slavery of our people is still continuing to this day.
So what is it you think that humanity needs to learn, and what is your sort of takeaway from the Bible? So, for example, some people, the heart of their religion or their belief is about standing in your own truth. It's about that love. It's about the forgiveness. It's about compassion for mankind, womankind. It's about, you know, loving thy neighbor. For you, what does your, apart from the history part of it all, which I'm really into, for you, because there's so many threads that weave all these different religions and beliefs together that ultimately culminate in one message. What would you say the message really is?
According to the Bible was only written for the blacks, then South Americans, the Native Indians, and the African diaspora spread around the world. The Bible was never written for all all the world. When you read the Bible, God only has one favorite race of people, and they are called the Israelites. God's got a favorite people, and the book is only about them. It's got the other nations in it, the other people in it, but God uses them as a weapon against us because we refuse to listen to him. So the Bible was not written for this. This is where Christianity gets pulled into it. The Bible was never written for everybody. The Bible is a history book for those that were ancestors that were enslaved at some time or another around the world. So it's not written, when you read the Bible, it's not written for the whole world. It's only written for one group of people. And I just show that to you, so you know that it's not my words that I'm speaking. So this is the law. This is in Deuteronomy. This is when we just came out of Egypt as slaves. Okay, and Moses is talking to us. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art a holy people. So we are a holy people. We are holy means separate from everything else. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. So we're a holy people unto God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people. So God has chosen us to be a special people. We are a special people. When we put our minds to do anything, we absolutely can do anything. You know, we are actually, well, God calls us special people, and that's good enough for me. Okay. And sorry, I'll read it again. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So God has chosen us. If you choose something, you know, and you say that's my, everyone's got something that is, everyone's got a favorite. God said we are his special people, and we are above all people on the face of the earth. That's what God says. That's what the Bible says. That's not me. That's what God's saying. So the blacks, the Hispanics, the Native Americans, the Africans, so-called Africans, diaspora spread across the world, God said that you are above all people when you come back to his laws and respect his commandments and does what he says.
Okay. I'm going to respect your beliefs. I mean, we differ very much in some aspects. There's a lot of what you said that I agree with in terms of the whitewashing of the Bible. I wish you had more time to delve into it. I'm gonna respect your beliefs on what you say and your journey. And this is a beautiful book. Tell me what your plans with it are now.
Well, basically, my plans really is just to educate the young children, because where I grow up, I see that they don't know who they are. They don't know where they're coming from, where they're going. They've mixed up into this society, and this society is kind of no good for them. And they just need to know that they are a special people, you know. And we need to educate our children of who they really are, because we're not getting told who we really are. And that's the biggest crime, that we don't know our own identity. So it's up to the parents, really. It's not my belief. If you know, I just read the Bible. I just showing you some verses. It's not, I didn't write the Bible. I'm showing you the things that are inside the Bible. If you believe the Bible, then you believe the Holy Scriptures. And I want the parents to be able to teach the children who they are. And basically, I just want to be able to open up our children and adults' mind to just our history.
Okay. Thank you, Adino. It's been lovely speaking with you today. And where can people find you?
Well, you can find me. I'm on Amazon, especially I'm at Conscious Books as well, so it's best to go to Conscious Book if you want to buy this book, and you can just tap my name into the internet, Adino Israel, Adam and Eve, and you can certainly find the book if you'd like to buy it and educate yourself on your history that has been hidden for over 500 years and even longer.
Okay. Thank you very much. Join us next week. Well, no, not next week, because next week is actually my birthday. So I will see you the following week, where I will be hopefully interviewing Tess, who has written a poetry book called My Painting and Yours, to be confirmed. See you not next week. See you in 2 weeks' time, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST. I have been Daniela Bleckner, speaking with
Adino Israel. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
All right. Bye, everyone.